welcome to Munro TV. My name is Damian, and today I'll be answering two commonly asked questions about contingencies. Firstly, why do we apply contingencies on past income? And second, why would one apply contingencies to a person who has high job security, say for example someone working in government? Both of these are very good questions and involve a basic understanding of contingencies, for which you're welcome to watch our other video on contingencies for more information. So first question, why are contingencies ever applied to past income? Well, when it comes to past income, we know what was earned and how the career progression of the claimant has gone in the injured scenario. Hence, we know exactly what has occurred and therefore no contingencies should be applied. However, in the uninjured scenario, there is a difference, and that is that we may not know exactly what would have occurred between the date of accident and now the date of calculation, had the accident not occurred. Who knows? There may have been periods of unemployment, lower career progression than we anticipated, or other events that may have occurred to impact the claimant's income, like for example another accident. Hence, at times we apply a small contingency to account for these possibilities. As mentioned in previous videos, contingencies should be applied on a case-by-case basis. So where we have certainty about past career progression in both scenarios, there is scope to argue that contingencies should not be applied to the past. This would be done at the prerogative of the court. In essence, contingencies are about the certainty there may be about the income the claimant would have earned. And the past uninjured scenario has a higher level of uncertainty than the injured scenario, where we know what has happened. This brings us on to our second question for the day. Why would one apply contingencies to a person with a high job security? Once again, contingencies are about the level of certainty we have that some event may happen to impact the claimant's future income. As we know, some jobs are more secure. For example, government employees, we know with more certainty that their future income would also be more secure. Hence, there will be a smaller need for contingencies in this case. However, this does not mean that we know everything that will happen with their income. There is still a possibility that the claimant could progress at a slower rate in their profession. The possibility that the claimant may be off work and lose out on benefits that are subject to performance, for example overtime or shift allowances. In our calculations, we also assume the claimant will earn income every month up until the age of retirement. There is a possibility that this may not be the case. Hence, there is still a level of uncertainty, albeit a lower level. Contingencies, therefore, cannot be ruled out completely. As contingencies revolve around the level of certainty, there is scope to argue the contingency based on what we do know. Hence, a claimant with higher job security would have less chance of these events occurring. Hence, there is scope to argue for lower contingencies. A claimant whose income is less secure, say someone who earns commission or performance-based income, could be argued for higher contingencies to be applied. So all in all, there is scope to apply contingencies on a case-by-case basis. I hope that this helps in explaining these two very good questions. Thanks for watching, and feel free to ask more questions or watch our other videos for further explanations. All our details can be found in the description box below.